So when you heard Miss Paul testify and you saw her notes saying that she contacted you after you told her that you didn't feel safe anymore, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to me what happened during that conversation?
With me and Miss Paul.
Right.
She offered just the FMLA thing. So she knew I didn't have time on my books. So it was either you go home without pay and you suffer financial loss, or you come to work and you deal with Deputy Gladney. Those are the options I perceived it to be because there was no real fix to the problem at all. I just feel like she put me in worse danger.
When you were working, did you see Mr. Gladney at all?
I didn't because I didn't, and I believe that's another reason why they walked me to avoid those issues, and also the once they found out about the Equal Rights Division complaint, they got me up. They walked me the very next day.
Okay, but let's just. So you talked to Miss Paul. She's asking you, "Are you fit for duty?" Do you recall that? Can you return to work? Are you scared?
I did tell her I wasn't. I fear for my safety. I never said I fear for my safety from Sergeant Baker and those. I just said Gladney was the main thing.
So, and it just so happened because you worked there for about a month later after Gladney threatened you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it was. Did you have to take any steps to make sure that you didn't come into contact with Mr. Gladney?
I was getting with the supervisors, let them know I didn't want contact with him. He got too much power. He just had too much power. He's a military guy, and he always talking about how well he can shoot, how he got access to people's addresses and things of that nature. So I know he came out here to try to portray the card as if he's fearful of me. Definitely not that. Y'all don't hear me threaten him, and he lied and said I threatened him. I didn't threaten him.
Okay, let me ask you this. After the August 14th, did Mr. Gladney ever apologize to you?
No.
Did Mr. Gladney ever say he wasn't going to assault you?
He did say he was going to, he threatened me.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Did he rescind the threat at any time?
Oh, no, he never rescinded it.
Has he rescinded it to this day?
No.
All right, are you still fearful of him?
Yeah, he was hostile the other day. So he was bopping me, it's just like he didn't care then, he don't care now. And it's like he don't regret his actions, and that's another reason. Even during the interview, when he's talking to Smoot, you can tell they got a friendly relation, and they let him act the way he want to act.
Did you hear Mr. Gladney describe threatening you with violence?
Yes.
Here, did he seem to have any reservation about describing that?
No.
Did he seem to be apologetic in any way?
No.
No. Okay. So you didn't get any guarantees, and let's put it another way, other than the order for you and Mr. Smoot not to have contact, what other steps, if any, did the agency take to protect you?
No.
Okay.
And I know Gladney mentioned that the recording stops. Everybody know with iPhones, I don't have a lot of storage on my cellular device. So when it stops, it stops. It's unfortunate that it stopped where it stopped, but I can't help the fact that I'm not fortunate as other people to get the 256 gigabyte devices or things of that sort. So I have to delete family photos and all that just to get a recording.
So, and just to go back to this threat, you went and sought medical treatment for that, right? A therapist? You saw a therapist?
Not for that instance. But I definitely, I was speaking with therapists throughout the time there when I was dealing with race-based complaints.
I got it. Okay. So the thing that I'm just trying to narrow in on here now is so you're working for a month, and is it just by accident that you don't have any contact with Mr. Gladney?
What you mean?
I mean, so you're ordered not to be together, right? But so is there, how is it possible, given the working conditions at the sheriff's office, that over a whole month you and him would not have contact?
Um, I'm not sure.
Okay. During that time while you were working there, were you still in fearing for your safety?
I did.
Why?
I don't know, because you got the internal affairs office in that building where I was working at the courthouse, so I could possibly run into him. And he's also worked at the he's worked and if a supervisor for the courts division on vacation or off. Gladney, he worked a lot of overtime. He can easily fill in for that spot. So he possibly my transgressors like buyers can possibly be my supervisor.
And you heard Smoot say, order Mr. Gladney if he saw you in the hallway just to keep going.
Yes.
Did he give you that same order? If you see Mr. Gladney, keep going.
I believe, did he? I don't recall.
Okay. If you saw Mr. Gladney in the hallway, would you have fear for your safety?
Definitely.
Okay. So you had every day until you were terminated, you had to go to from August 15th on, you had to go to work fearing for your
I
safety.
didn't fear for my safety, yes. I didn't know if he was going to be the supervisor or if he would have gone up there. He advocated for other people. He was a union president. So I felt like I will see him at the courthouse at some point, and I fear for my safety.
And then the union retaliated against you while that's going on, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to talk to me. Even he said I only trusted one person. Nobody would talk to me. Every union president member that I went to, Gladney told me not to talk to you. That's what and when I brought them with things, I'm gonna get with Gladney about it. Why would you get with Gladney about an issue I could have with Gladney? So that was the situation that was going on.
Okay. And then we've seen that Mr. Gladney is oftentimes you go to even the chief deputy, then it comes down to Mr. Gladney to talk to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it does seem that Mr. Gladney has he's participated in your career at the sheriff's department. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And you saw Mr. Gladney testify that he believed he was trying to help you. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Do you think that's accurate?
No.
No. Okay.
And not just a union standpoint, but the sergeant standpoint. Like, because when things get bad, they throw up the union hat. Like, nah, I spoke to you while you was on the clock. When you're on the clock, you're a supervisor. But since these issues coming about, of course, the county prepped them to say union hat. They don't want anything to be rolled off against them, and I get it. Save y'all some money. That's exactly why they put him as a supervisor in the first place when he was clearly a union president.
So he's a union president, and do you believe he was playing both sides against the middle?
Definitely.
Okay.
He was communicating with my transgressors from the top. So that's how the county got involved. By keep communicating about I thought was confidential information. Everything I reported to Gladney, they mistreated me more.
Okay. When we heard Mr. Gladney, because there's this text where he says, "You're fucked, not me," right?
Yes.
And we heard Mr. Gladney testify that that was about your pension, right?
Yes.
How did you take that phrase, "You're fucked, not me"?
I took that as they about to terminate me either way. However things pan out, however things play out, they're gonna get rid of you whether there's a real sexual harassment case or not. Because if you look at the details in the mayor, James Novotny know the real. And he just right now they promoting everybody who was associated with my case. Get rid of Lucky, we're gonna promote you. It's funny how everybody got promoted that had any involvement with Deputy Lucky. Or they got a good 10-day suspension deal that they doing behind the scenes deals, and that's what's going on. James Novotny got promoted during the middle of my investigation. Now Smoot a captain.
Okay. So during your time working for the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, just one second, please.
I promise you, if I never made any complaints, I will be perfect right now.
Thanks for holding on. Well, just 1 second here, Sarah. All right. During your time at the sheriff's department, you were subject to racist comments by your coworkers. Is that right?
Yes.
More than once?
Yes.
Okay. During your time employed as a deputy at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, you were subject to racist violence by your coworkers. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. During your time at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, you were subject to racist job assignments. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And during your time at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, you were subject to racist duties not assigned to white deputies, right?
Yes.
Okay. During your time at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, did you complain about these racist comments?
I did.
Okay. Did you complain about the racist violence?
Yes.
Okay. How about the racist job assignments?
Yes.
Okay. And how about racist job duties like being made to clean up blood?
Yes.
Okay. Did you complain about bullying?
Yes.
Did you complain about racial harassment?
Yes.
Okay. Did those complaints reach upper management at the sheriff's department?
Yes.
Okay. And did those complaints reach at least to Molly Zillig?
Yes.
Okay. Did those complaints reach to the chief deputy, now the sheriff, Danita Ball?
Yes.
Okay. Did Danita Ball take any affirmative action to resolve the problem?
No.
No. Did Molly Zillig take any affirmative action to resolve the problem?
No.
Okay. And how about Mr. Novotny?
No.
No. Okay. Um, and again, you're aware of the policy, the anti-harassment policy at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office followed its policy with regard to your complaints about racist comments?
No.
Why not?
They didn't do any step. They didn't take any steps to get any complaints I made resolved. I was always left blindsided. Like I still don't know to this day who put the Barbie doll in the mailbox. They turned it into a running joke after the complaint was made. They didn't say that before. Now I'm hearing about anything to protect the agency. They did that and they prepped everybody. And because Gladney was on board, everybody was saying it was racist and everything when I brought it to everybody. Now, since this ERD is here and everybody's saying it's a running joke. It was this mailbox, that mailbox, that mail. It was on the start. Nobody told me any of that. Why the complainant just not knowing about this? I'm just not knowing about a lot of things during this hearing, which is sad. That's how you know it was intentional. And that sexual harassment was no sexual harassment. Was no flirtatious comments being made, no compliments being made. It was a mutual thing about Bucks, COVID, and things of that nature. Nothing that tie us into any relations. We didn't even go by each other.
Okay, let's talk about you made complaints about racist violence. And do you believe that the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department followed its policy with regard to your complaints about racist violence?
They did not follow anything.
Okay, and why not?
Because everything back, they retaliated after every complaint, and they ignored every race complaint I made, and I was out just to suffer.
Okay, and Miss Byers has never been reprimanded for her assault of you, right?
No.
Okay, and Miss Byers has never been reprimanded for recording your telephone call, right?
No.
But she also has not produced your telephone call. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that you made race-based complaints on that telephone call?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you made complaints about racist job assignments. Do you believe that the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department followed its own policies with regards to your complaints about racist job assignments?
No.
Why not?
Again, because I was still put in a position to still suffer after I made complaints. I was still forced to do or go home without pay. Like I was just forced to be where I was despite every complaint I had made.
Okay. At any time after you made a complaint, did your situation improve?
No.
Okay. Did at any time after your complaint, did your situation get worse?
Worse.
Every time?
Every time.
Okay. 1 second, please.
Again, if I never made any complaints, I will be scotch-free. I will still be in uniform.
All right. I am ready to pass this witness.
All right, thank you. Okay, Attorney Lawrence, do you have questions for this witness?
I do, but Your Honor, I would actually ask for a break. It is 11:15.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, why don't we break until 11:30?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Is that
Thank you.
long enough? Okay. All right, see you then.
I'll be right back. Another coffee delay.
Okay.
We've got a new law clerk. I guess it's the semester starting, and now we're like, our coffee's running out like crazy, so I had to go make coffee. Tomorrow's the day I'll teach him how to make coffee.
Appreciate you for all your coffee, man.
We are ready. Thank you for that.
Okay, Attorney Lawrence?
Thank you. Mr. Lucky, you testified on direct that you approached Fred Gladney about rumors
About who?
about rumors in the agency that you were at protests in lieu of being home on COVID. Do you recall that testimony?
Phone call.
I'm sorry, what?
He has a phone call.
Who has a phone call?
You asked me if I approached him. I didn't physically approach him. I called him.
Okay, but you addressed it with him, you said, yes?
Yes.
Can you
You
hear
claim
each
that
other? Excuse me.
Can y'all hear me good or no?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you reported or complained to Fred Gladney that there were rumors in the agency that you had been at protests in lieu of home isolating on COVID. Is that right?
Yes, and he was already aware of the rumor.
Okay. But Fred Gladney wasn't asked about that in his testimony, was he?
About the protest?
Correct.
I don't recall.
Okay. You raised an issue about a policy banning trendy hairstyles.
Yes.
Can you identify that policy?
I can't, but I remember because I was the only Black person with the things, and I remember seeing it. And any cast, any other Black person there at the agency, because you represent them, you can ask them for yourself. That was pertaining to me. I had the best hairstyles. They were like, "Oh, you have a cool hairstyle." I was the only one with the best hairstyles.
And did you raise that in your complaint?
Not in the complaint.
Okay.
Might have.
You said that you asked.
I might have. I'm not sure.
Objection
that you-
stated.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Attorney
didn't either.
Lawrence.
It's the time period here is the issue, because you said complaint, and I'm not clear on what complaint you're talking about.
I'm sorry. Did you address that in the complaint that is at issue here today before this ALJ?
It's possible. Maybe it was in a broader text form. If I say race discrimination, I only had a certain amount of lines to write on that piece of paper. So I had to try to summarize everything from front to the back.
You did attach 7 additional sheets of paper, though, did you not?
I did, but as far as writing the summary of it, I was only to squeeze in a certain amount of information. It definitely falls into the key words I was using in there.
And you said that Fred Gladney had made some remarks about this policy or your locks, I think it was. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. But you didn't ask Fred about that during his testimony, correct?
I wouldn't be the one asking him. I don't know.
Okay. But we didn't hear any testimony from Fred on that, did we?
I don't recall.
Okay. About the door insubordination claim, you say that you never heard of the hydraulic issues before yesterday, but you did sit through the arbitration and heard Sarah Byers testify at that arbitration, correct?
I did.
Okay. And at the end of that arbitration, the discipline was upheld, was it not?
Because of the prior wrongful insubordinations, that's why it was concluded that way. Lucky was involved in this, Lucky was involved in that after my HR complaints. Then I got hit with those. So they used those wrongful write-ups to uphold that. Now, if those never existed, they would have I would never have been charged with that.
So it's your testimony that it was the arbitration decision was based entirely on prior discipline.
Exactly. It definitely was, because I don't know if you was there at the thing, but if you was at there, they mentioned prior discipline. Like the PRB hearing, they did the same thing.
And that was the sole basis for their decision, you believe?
Definitely. It was definitely the sole basis.
And it's your testimony here today that that work arbitrator heard you report race complaints, you heard your racial complaints and ignored them in the decision. Is that correct?
Correct. They definitely heard me speak on me being bullied and the retaliation, all those things. Yes.
Okay. I am going to share my screen.
Which one is this?
This is an arbitration award number 7979. It is the arbitration award that was offered, that was issued in response to
It
Mr.
doesn't have a number, I take it.
I'm sorry, what's that?
It doesn't have a number, an exhibit
It
number?
does not yet. We'll have to add one to it.
That's fine. Okay.
Mr. Lucky, you testified that you were at that arbitration.
Is this the transcript just or summary of what the people that's working with the sheriff department concluded with?
Was this provided in discovery?
I believe it was provided in discovery, and not only that, but he should have had a copy because he was issued one by work. This is the decision from the work arbitrator.
Okay.
That's what I received that, but not the transcript. Is this the transcript or the video of it?
It is not. It's just the arbitration award, sir.
Also, it's they summary of.
Yes, and they did, in fact, you did in fact receive it. As you just stated. Your Honor, we would ask to mark this as Respondent's Exhibit 34.
So marked.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is admitted.
I remember that document. That's what I disagree with. I didn't like that whole thing. They based it off my wait for the course. Yeah.
Okay.
Just December after. Excuse me.
Stop. Okay. Mr. Lucky, you claim that Captain Charles Stowers informed you that people at the agency or that the agency was racist, correct?
Yes.
Right. That seems pretty like that would support your claim pretty well, right?
Right.
But you did not subpoena him to testify in your on your behalf or to give that evidence?
I'm not sure. We had a week to present, so we only had a certain amount of people. We already at Thursday, and then we wouldn't have time for every single body in the agency because when we tried to subpoena people, they were hiding. They were trying not to be subpoenaed. It was hard trying to get certain people subpoenaed, so that would have been possible. But he should have been here. I was hoping he would be here.
So you issued a subpoena against Charles Stowers, is that correct?
I didn't, but I wish he was here.
Okay. Moving on. You testified that the call on August 14th, 2021 between you and Frederick Gladney was due to an issue with Sergeant Pollock. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. But in fact, the real issue there, Sergeant Pollock didn't let you cancel your time because you were doing so only because you'd found out that the watch was canceled. Isn't that right?
No, negative.
Okay. I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen.
Can we get some foundation on watch? I'm not
Hospital watch.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So I think you testified on direct that you had been mandatory to perform a hospital watch, but you called in sick because your son was ill, correct?
Right.
Okay. But at some point in time, you found out that that hospital watch had been canceled. I believe Sergeant, and I'm going to be awful with this name, Agostopoulos?
Yeah, Agostopoulos.
Okay. Informed you that the watch had been canceled, subsequent to which you tried to rescind your sick time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then Sergeant Pollock told you that's not how it works. Correct? Okay.
Which is not, which he lied because I did it before in the past.
And then you had a full email exchange with Sergeant Gladney over the cancellation of your sick time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this, starting at the bottom here, For the record, this is the full case file of 21263A.
Just for
These
the
are,
record, excuse me here, this is I assume a document that doesn't have a number, right?
it does not. This is being offered for impeachment purposes.
That part I got too. Do we have, is this what I didn't understand was, were you moving on to another document then?
Nope, I am reading from documents within it. So this is the full case file for 21203A. I believe we have the investigative summary already in evidence. This is the full case file, and this is page 22 scrolling up. So it begins with the
Well, I have some more questions before I'm ready to not object here.
Sure.
So this is this the ones that we got from on Wednesday of last week?
No.
No, okay. And then and you're asking to put in the entire case file. Can we see the beginning of this document, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. 21263A. Okay. And I'm sorry, is this the investigation of Mr. Gladney or Mr. Lucky?
This is the investigation of Mr. Lucky.
Okay. Okay, can we see the last page, please?
Absolutely. Do you want to scroll through all the pages, or
No,
you want
I
just the first and the last?
Yeah, first and the last.
Okay, there's the last page.
Okay. I'm familiar with it. Assuming that this is the entire document of what you're saying it is, we don't object.
Okay.
Now, is this going to be R35 or is it still part of R34?
It is R35. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And going back to page 22 of this document. Oh, sorry, not 22. This is 44 of 52. This is an email that you sent to Frederick Gladney, correct?
I have to read it.
Okay, please do.
Yes, that's yeah.
Okay. That was about rescinding your sick time, what we were just talking about, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this is a response from Frederick Gladney.
Right. Right.
Okay. You then respond to him again, correct? So this is 12:42:57. This is 12:49. This is an ongoing email conversation, correct?
Yes.
And this is your response to that email, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Once again, we have the next response at 1:53:02 p.m. Gladney asking you who told you the hospital watch was canceled.
Right.
Okay. Then you reply to him at 1:54. Please help me with the name. Sergeant Agnostopoulos?
Anagnostopoulos.
Anagnostopoulos. Thank you. It's a mouthful.
Gnostic and Anna. Place name. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Mm.
So that was from you to him. Then you replied again about 4 minutes later, correct?
Right. Right.
And then this is Fred forwards this several days later to Brent Smoot, saying this is portion of how this started, correct?
Right.
Okay. So now we agree that the conversation started because you tried to get out of an MOT once you knew that you didn't have to perform the watch, correct?
No, negative. I called in sick because my son threw up in a restaurant. He threw up in a restaurant. I believe that day, Gladney should have some kind of photos of me sending him proof of my son and a video of him throwing up in the restaurant. The aftermath, like when he throw up all, that's the reason why. But when I found a babysitter for my son, I rescinded it. I don't have a problem with nowhere where I work at. I can work anywhere. You know, and he know that. So he knew the real reason. But he said it was about the sexual harassment case. It wasn't. It was about rescinding time, like I rescinded time in the past. If I'm calling in sick and I don't have a babysitter for my sick kid, that's why I called in. And then when I found a babysitter, I came into work. So Pollock said I wasn't able to, even though other supervisors allowed me to do so in the past.
Okay. Your Honor, we're asking that Exhibit 35 be moved into evidence.
Any objection?
No, do we have a full and complete copy of that has been sent to us at some point?
I do not know if you do, because this is beyond the scope of the complaint and subject to our ongoing standing objections, but I can send you a copy.
Okay. Well, right. I mean, I don't.
Yep.
I do object to the extent that we haven't seen this before. I don't have I mean, it's not, for the terms of rebuttal, that's perfectly fine. We don't object to that. It just, for fairness sake, we should be able to have access to this document, as well as everybody else.
Okay, then it is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lucky, you testified that you did not get a copy of your personnel file. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I am sharing.
Discovery, yes.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yes, I received everything during discovery.
Okay, you did receive it during discovery.
Not everything, though. Not everything, just portion of it.
What do you think was missing, sir?
The issues that was raised with what we brought up, the things that we had to take breaks for, and the judge had to decide those things.
Things we had to take. I'm not sure what I would be
The
referencing.
notes that Mary Paul came up with, those kind of notes, and
Got
then as well as the other last issue regarding Byers' video that she recorded of me. Those things I didn't receive everything.
Okay, and you believe those belong in your personnel file?
Yes, it belongs because don't omit certain information that's going to protect y'all.
Sir, do you know what what's your experience in HR?
It's the same as
Have you
yours.
ever worked for HR?
Me and you both don't have experience in HR, so we both probably have the same knowledge.
Actually, so you don't know my experience. So I'll take that answer to be that you do not have any experience in HR.
With the sheriff department, no.
Okay. Have you had a experience in HR anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Have you ever maintained or put together a personnel file for anyone?
It's possible.
You've put together a personnel file for somebody?
It's possible. I was a manager before.
Okay. So, but do you have any schooling?
I do.
Okay. In putting together personnel files and human resource management?
It's possible.
It's possible. You took classes in HR management?
It's possible.
Okay. You claimed on direct that Mr. Gladney told you he was putting together a lawsuit. He led you to believe that the union was putting together a lawsuit for you, correct?
Correct.
But no questions were asked about that when Mr. Gladney was here testifying before us. Isn't that right?
I don't recall.
Okay. So we have no testimony from Fred Gladney on that matter.
It's possible.
Okay. You claim that Fred Gladney told you that you and Deputy Lizama were fucked and that the agency was out to terminate you. But we don't have any testimony about Deputy Lizama from Fred Gladney in this record, do we?
You first of all, you misstated prior testimony. I didn't say that. I said Sergeant Thiek is the one who said that the agency was out to get me and Lizama. And then as far as Gladney, he told me I was fucked. Different occasions, they was out to get me.
Okay, so Sergeant Thiep told you the agency was out to get you.
Correct.
Okay.
And Sergeant Gladney.
Sergeant Gladney did tell you that?
Both, yes.
Okay. And did Sergeant Gladney have any part or any comments about Deputy Lizama?
Not Sergeant Gladney.
Okay. And who is Sergeant Thiep?
Sergeant Thief is the same person who directed me to Lieutenant Sawchuk about my medical excuse that I was supposed to get. And when he directed me over to him, I got poorly treated due to the color of my skin.
And I believe that you've testified he's retired now, correct?
Yes.
How long ago did he retire?
You have to get with the people you represent. Not sure.
Okay, but you didn't call him here as a witness for you today.
No.
Okay. You cited an anti-harassment policy that Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office didn't follow. Can you identify what policy that was and what they didn't follow?
The harassment policy. I mean, I don't know the numbers to it, but they didn't follow as far as resolving the issues and making sure it's taken care of, as well as resolving it. They didn't resolve anything.
Okay, so you don't recall the number for it, though?
Nope.
Do you recall what it says?
I know the key parts of it. I don't know the exact verbatim, but if you was to set it up in front of me, I'll tell you if it's accurate or not.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lucky, you testified on direct that you're about 5'10", correct?
Correct.
Okay. And approximately what do you weigh?
190, 185, 190.
Okay. And how old are you currently?
31.
Okay. If you had to guess, how tall would you say Sarah Byers is?
Shorter than me.
Is she shorter than you by 1 inch?
You asked me about schooling earlier. I can't give you exact measurements, so I don't know.
Okay. Is she shorter than you by half a foot?
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Okay.
We have to
Would you-
stand side by side today if I can give you exact measurements.
When she stands by you, does she come up to your chin? Your nose? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But she's shorter than you.
She wears boots. Her boots are stacked, so she sometimes appears probably taller than her actual height.
Okay. Is she younger or older than you?
I believe older.
Is she how much older do you believe
That
Sarah Byers is than you?
If you can pull up a driver license or her information,
Okay. If you're guessing, would you say she's 5 years older than you?
I'm not sure. I never asked her age. Some people look older than what they are. Some people appear younger than what they are. I'm not sure.
Okay. But it's fair to say for sure that she's older than you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you work out, Deputy?
Huh?
Do you work out? Go to the gym?
I haven't ever since been in that training academy, and it threw me all the way up as far as mental state of mind and everything. So no, I haven't got back in the groove of working out since then. No, I haven't
Okay.
worked out since the academy.
Okay. If you and Sarah Byers were at a gym together, who do you think could lift more weight?
She probably can. The way
Yeah.
she swung up in that strong steel door.
Okay. So you think Sarah Byers could outlift you in a lifting competition? Is that your testimony?
I'm not sure. No, it's some women stronger than me for sure.
I'm not asking about women stronger than you. I'm asking, is Sergeant Byers stronger than you?
I have no idea.
Okay. Deputy, if you were cornered in an enclosed space with somebody who was bigger than you, stronger than you, and younger than you, do you think it would be reasonable to feel threatened?
Cornered. Nobody was cornered. That office got multiple doors, and she could go out one side, and it was 2 entrances to this office. She can go out one side that was by her desk, and I stood at the doorway where she's always keep that door open by her side, so you can clearly see both. It's multiple exits through that office.
Okay.
And she
I'm
was.
going to ask my question again and ask that the last response be stricken as non-responsive. If you are in an enclosed space alone with somebody who is bigger than you, stronger than you, and younger than you, and they're yelling at you, would you feel threatened?
Nobody was yelling.
It's not my question, sir.
I'm giving you the answer to your
I'm
question.
giving you a hypothetical question, sir. Please listen to my question and answer only the question I'm asking you. If you are in an enclosed space alone with somebody who is bigger than you, stronger than you, and younger than you, and they're yelling at you, would you feel threatened?
It depends on the situation. Not if I got a taser on my hip, a gun on my hip, and I'm a police officer and
Okay.
a sergeant and a supervisor over a bunch of people that's bigger than me or smaller than me. No, I can't use your example. That's a bad example. Can you try a different one, please?
Well, let's go to an actual. You did, in fact, feel threatened by Frederick Gladney over a phone conversation. Is that correct?
I feel threatened by Sergeant Byers as well.
Okay.
I don't think size playing factors.
So was that a yes? You did, in fact, feel threatened by Fred Gladney over the phone, but you're not sure if you'd be threatened by somebody yelling at you in person. That's correct, right?
Compound, can you ask a smaller question?
Sure. You did, in fact, feel threatened by Frederick Gladney over the phone, correct?
Correct.
But you can't say whether you would feel threatened by somebody yelling at you in person.
Correct.
Okay. If we could take a short break, Judge, we may be done.
No problem.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll take a short break.
When would you like us back, Judge?
Oh, is 5 after 12 enough?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, 12:05.